Holly Cotton here, and I always say at the beginning of my show that I love whenever I find people that are doing things to be the change and inspiring other people to do the same thing. So I am going to get the details. If you're looking to change your community, you don't have an idea of where to start. This is why we have these episodes because you can see other people doing the great things. So I have Adriauna Davis, who is the founder of the Harmony Grace Foundation. So one, she's going to tell us about her foundation, of course, how it started, share all of that struggles with having a foundation, and give us the deets on that as well. So welcome, Adriana.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so of course, let's just go into it because Harmony Grace Foundation, and I'm looking, the mission statement is to provide unwavering support to families navigating the challenging terrain of premature birth and infant loss. So, one, I'm a nurse, and one of the genres that I never wanted to work in nursing was pediatrics.
Mm,
I never wanted to work in obstetrics because yes, it's beautiful when there is a healthy birth and they give you this baby and everything is happy, but there's so many instances where, like we just said, there is a loss of that, or there's that premature birth, or the NICU, or like there's so many things, and also the liability that
right.
comes with it. And then two, I hate to see sick kids. I don't know, it's just so hard for me. Everyone is always like, "Oh, there's a reason for everything. God don't make mistakes, this and that, this and that." And I'm like, I've been a nurse for a long time. There's a lot of mistakes that are being made. I don't care. I just like having a sick kid or watching a child die. There's no, I can't fathom it. So I stay out of those fields. So tell us about your personal experience and why this became your mission.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, back in 2018, I found out I was pregnant and gave birth to my daughter, Harmony Grace, on June 23rd, yesterday, which was her birthday. So happy birthday to her. She was weighing 15.2 ounces, and that's less than 1 pound. Well, after we spent about 7 months and 1 week in the neonatal intensive care unit, she succumbed to her illness. But just watching how we as Black women or Black families have to struggle with the lack of support, understanding, and education going through this experience, I felt compelled to give back and support those that look like me so that they don't feel alone on the journey. We provide education, maternal care packages, transportation and mobility, lodging, as well as cremation if they lose their baby. And I started my organization because of my personal experience with my daughter, and wanting to give back and support other families. So here we are in 2024, still supporting families. We've donated over 500 plus care packages. We have supported at least 3 families that needed cremation. We've given over $1,500 to those that have needed transportation or needed to be housed to be closer to baby, because these families commute over 30, 45 minutes to go and see their babies, and they don't need to be going back home. They need to be close by. So we do whatever we can to support them in that space.
I love that. And yeah, and those are all things that you don't even know that people need until
Hmm.
you're in
That
that
situation. That's right.
I yeah, because it's like I've learned that just being in the healthcare industry is always, I'm like, wow, this man, I could make a whole bunch of money doing such and such, or I could do this. So I love that you're doing that.
Thank you.
Now, would you go into, and I know it's a difficult story to tell, but I just want to also be able to use your story to educate other women because I think was it May was maternal health month, I think
And,
it was,
mhm.
and they were I was talking to a bunch of people, and I was at a bunch of events where they were talking about Black women and maternal health, and why there's this disparities, why do they have, we're having more infant deaths. Like, there's just always a disparity. I'm so sick of the disparity, but it's there,
Yes,
it's
it is.
relevant all the time. We're always talking about it. So would you go in and just tell your story? Because obviously, if she was 1 pound, you were what, 27, 28 weeks?
She was born at 23 weeks and 1 day.
Okay.
So she was
Hmm.
born at 23 weeks and 1 day. My journey started a little bit early when I found out I was pregnant. And then I was going for my routine checkups. And one day I went in for my checkup, and one of the nurses, she was getting ready to do an anatomy scan. And she looked, and all she said to me was, "I am going to pray for you." And this was my first pregnancy, not knowing anything, and really know what questions to ask. So I pretty much did, asked, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said that I'm going to go and get your OB for her to come in. Well, when she came in, she looks at me. She said, "We're gonna go and put a cerclage in." I didn't know what a cerclage was. Now I know it's to help keep the baby in as long as possible. So that's something that I learned through my experience. Well, unfortunately, once I got the cerclage done, that procedure done, about a month or so later, Harmony came. Harmony didn't stay in no time. Her heart rate continued to drop while she was inside of me. So I was on the heart monitor to, monitor her heart. And I was on bed rest for a while. We spent some time there, and one of the doctors came in and said it's time because if the longer she stays in, you can lose your life and she can lose hers. But by the grace of God, I was able to give birth at, again, 23 weeks. She the tiniest baby in that NICU. We spent 2 months in a level 3 facility hospital before we transferred to a level 4 facility where she got better care. But unfortunately, because she had undeveloped lungs, she was very tiny. She did not make it. But our journey, we had support from our family and friends. And some of the staff was pretty helpful as well. But when you look at the holistic part of it, we need everybody to be on board and align with what's going on, because this is a life. We are humans. The babies are humans, and we needed that support at that time. But unfortunately, Harmony is not here. So I wanted to continue to honor her, but also in honoring her, supporting other families.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and I am definitely sorry for your loss. I know that that is always a hard thing as well. I've seen it so many times too, because people are like, "Well, I mean, you can have another baby, or you can have a," like, people don't know what to say,
Mhm.
and that's not the
That is
answer.
not. I'm glad you mentioned that. Fortunately, in my space, when I went through it, I kind of talked to my mom and my church family about it. That they reminded me of Job, how when he lost everything, his friends sat there with him quietly, not asking any questions, right? And that's how my space was. So in doing that, there was another family that lost their baby, and her friends were asking, you can always have another one, this. And I said, that's not the time to ask that question. So you got to learn how to respect that individual. And I know it's out of the kindness of, you not knowing, but sometimes we just got to be mindful that at that moment in time, those are not the questions to ask. Just let them know you'll continue to pray for them, uplift them, send them an encouraging word. But when you talk about when are you going to have another baby, or there's always time, that's not the time for that. So I'm glad that you brought that up. But in my space, in my circle at that time, they were very, very respectful, and all they did was pray for me. And it brought me to the realization that when you have a village, right? Because it takes a village to raise a child. But when you have that village and you have that support, you're gonna make it through. And that's exactly what happened for me and her father.
Well, good for you for having the village, because yeah, so many people don't have it. And again, it's funny because I just, even though I'm not technically like a nurse anymore. I mean, I still have all of this nursing things that happen, and I would just be in the room sometimes when it, and I did hospice for a while
Mhm.
too, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the things I know, I'm making a list of things not to say
Yes.
when someone has a loss, when someone is losing someone. Like, I feel that it made me such a better person because I'm like, oh God, never say that. That was terrible.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So, do you have any other children
I
or
don't.
small? Okay,
I'm a good auntie. That's
just
my
curious. I
role.
was just curious, just curious. So, let's go into, because people always, similar to your situation, they always feel that, okay, well, I see that this, this is a way for me to heal by helping other people go through this. And so sometimes people heal and they're like, I never want to talk about this again. Or situations like you where it's part of the healing process because I want to make sure no one else has these outcomes. Or how can I help other people? Or now I identified ways to make their process a little bit easier. So this is now my mission in life. So tell us about it, because people are in your situation now where something happened to them, or they're dealing with something, or they want to start a foundation. Go back and tell us exactly, how did you say, okay, step one, this is what I want to do, and now this is how I'm going to do it. How did that whole setup process start?
Yeah, so to be transparent and honest, it was hard because when it happened, I looked at God and questioned him. You taking me through something that has never happened before in my family. No prematurity, um, no infant loss, but you used me. So why? So I was angry for a long time and I did not want to speak about it, but one of the things we shy away from is therapy. One day I decided it was time to go to therapy. I went to therapy for almost a year and a half, maybe two. And just through my process, through that journey, I began to see clarity, gain understanding. God was then talking to me that, okay, you see what I've done for you, what I'm doing for you. And I said, okay, you know, I don't mind talking, I don't mind advocating for people. So in that space, I began praying, deep praying, talking to him daily. And after that, I began to find myself where I'm talking to my friends who have experienced it, or talking to other families when I stay connected with them, those who I went through the hospital with. I stayed connected with them and started talking to them. And I became a voice, not just for myself, but for others. So I began to advocate and I said, you know, it's time to do something about empowering other women to speak up about their experience, because we don't know what that person have gone through that could potentially help us go through what we are going through or may have to go through later on. So I became an advocate and I wrote a book. I am an author, Perfect Harmony, My Journey as a Preemie Mom. And I wrote down everything we went through. And in the end, it said that I was going to start an organization and I was going to name it after my daughter, the Harmony Grace Foundation. And doing that, when people would read my book, they asked me to come and speak. So, in asking me to come and speak, I realized how powerful my voice is and had become. So, that was part of my healing. Speaking and showing women, showing up for women and showing them that your voice matters, and it's going to take you to speak up about it and not hold it in, because sometimes we sit in our silos that we don't want to talk about it, and that's not healthy at all. You're hurting yourself for not speaking up about it. And I get that some people are different when it comes to emotions than others, but and it's only in due time. But understanding that sharing your story, you're empowering someone else, but most importantly, you're empowering yourself, and you're letting that weight, lifting that weight off of you, so that you can become a stronger person. Your mental can be stronger, and then you can be stronger for the next person. So that's what I would say that has helped me in my healing journey, is becoming an advocate, realizing that I can not only empower myself but empower others, writing my story and telling my story, and having this foundation to continue to support other families. because it's not just moms I support fathers as well, because they also go through that phase with us too. But we put a lot of emphasis on moms. Yes, we are the ones giving birth, but understanding that fathers are just there as well. So we support them in that space as well, to become advocates for their community, for men as well, to be able to speak up.
Yes, and I say all the time, because when I talk about, because people love to hear the cancer
Mhm.
story. People love to hear my story of survivorship. And I'm like, you only care about it because I'm here
Yeah.
winning. You don't want to hear people's stories that died or dying. Like, you want to see the person as the motivation of, hey, there is life
That's right.
after this. And I think that is so important for us, because you do get to that crossroad where I'm like, I don't want to talk about it again. I just want the cancer story to go away. I'm sick of it. Like, I don't want that to be the only thing that I'm known for forever.
Mhm.
But then you're looking at, well, why am I still here? Why am I, what am I supposed to do with this now? Maybe I'm supposed to do something better. And once you start going in a different direction, you're like, oh, wow, this is where I'm supposed to
Mhm.
be. And I love what you said, because that was actually one of the questions that I was going to ask you. But Adriana, you know all the answers already. So, but one of the questions, I guess not questions, but the talking points that I was thinking of was about the
Yeah.
fathers, because I feel that whenever there is some type of infant loss or a miscarriage, that we always focus on the woman.
Mhm.
And yes, it is our body. It is not only a mental attachment, but it's a physical attachment. One, the woman is a priority, because we don't want her to die or bleed or have something that goes wrong with her. We want to make sure that we do save the parts in her, that she can have, that she can have another kid later. So there's always the focus on, okay, are we saving the reproductive order or organs? Are we doing all of that? So I get it. Saving the woman, focusing on the woman in a miscarriage is very
Mhm.
crucial, and it is a priority. But we always look at dads as, they're the man, they'll deal with it. They maybe aren't attached. And a lot of men are very
Mhm.
attached. They're excited about starting a family. They're looking forward to it. They are already making plans, but they sort of
Mhm.
suppress it, because that's not, like, whatever. But a lot of men are really excited to be
Yes.
dads. So, what are some of the things that men are saying in these rooms, as whenever you're, like you said, you're talking to dads, you're trying to make sure that they're getting resources that they need? Also, what are some of the things that the dads are saying about losing a child?
It's hurt. It's painful. I can speak about Harmonie's father. um we commuted 2 hours to see our daughter, so we were always there. But he was always there. And in her last moments, he actually held her as she was declining. And to see his reaction, it was shocking to me, because we put men shouldn't cry or men shouldn't react this way, but he broke down. And it was painful to watch, because I was like, oh, what am I gonna do, right? So I had to then begin to support him, because it was his first child as well. But they want, like you said, they want babies. They want to start a family, and they are very excited when they start a family. But in those unfortunate moments when they can't start a family, it's hurtful. They are silent as well. They don't know how to express it. So in our conversations, it's those moments where I remember her father telling me he is grateful that I was there supporting him and I didn't walk away, because he was showing his emotions. So, and in those spaces, they just want to feel supported. They want to feel loved and cared for, understanding that we are not the only ones that feel that hurt and that pain, but they feel it as well, and just have a different way of expressing it. And sometimes they just need that time alone, where when they feel that they can't speak at that moment and they feel distance, respect them in that time. There's nothing against us. It's just that they have not experienced that before. We're carrying this baby and we feel that deeper connection, but they are there throughout the entire process where they feel that connection as well. And all they want to do is just get the opportunity to hold their baby alive and be able to take it home. So those are some of the things that we hear, is wanting to feel supported. If they feel distant, is nothing against us. They just need time and space in that moment. And that's what we hear in some of our educational sessions.
That's a yeah, thank you for that. That's a good perspective of it because that's not my domain. So I don't know. But I do think that just when I think about things all the time that I experience throughout my life and in situations, and that is so true because there's so many times where someone was passing away or there's something going on that's
Mhm.
hard, and men will sort of retreat rather than the woman will always be the one crying, oh Lord, that's my baby, or oh, that's my mom, or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. If someone is passing away or something traumatic, we're always like the ones that are like, and then the men are like, they're focused on, okay, so
Yeah.
what do I do next? They become like the problem solvers, and a lot of times we don't give them that space to where they can just
Hmm.
relax and be like, this is
Hmm.
hard for me also. They have to hold it together because we want to be the ones
Mhm,
acting
mhm.
crazy.
So you have to sometimes switch that, and when you're both hurting,
Mhm,
then you go to therapy together, right? You talk it
mhm,
out, and you want to feel supported, and they want to feel supported as well. But you're absolutely right, because when she passed, I was like, okay, I need you. But when I saw the expression, when I saw the emotions, I knew then that something just went off and said, you got to go and support this man. You have to be his protector now. You have to support him because, yes, you're feeling it, but he can always be the strong one. You got to step up and be strong for him now. And you have to be strong together. So that was our dynamic. And again, that is some of the things that we hear in our educational sessions that we hold.
Well, because I always say I'm about the women. I'm going to support the women. I'm a feminist, but I still love the men. I try to educate
Yes.
everyone. So, look, we gave y'all a little 4 minutes to talk about men. Okay, back to women. No, we gave y'all a month. It was Men's Mental Health Month last month. So, my next question is, whenever you are talking about starting, whether it be a business, a foundation, a organization, whatever it is, there's always obstacles that come with it because you'll have this big idea in your head and it seems like it makes perfect sense. Because I know me, I'm an
Mhm.
overachiever. I will have I got 38 projects right now going on, and for me, it's like I know this is going to work
Yeah.
some kind of way. Whatever, I'm gonna figure it out. But I don't have a foundation or a nonprofit or that. That's not my specialty. But I do love when I hear about people that are doing it. However, I know that there's a lot of
Mhm.
obstacles that come with it, and I can't take it on myself. So, for people that are looking to follow in your footsteps, what are some of the obstacles that you didn't anticipate that you would have to overcome? And how exactly did you process that or go a different direction? Did you have to pivot on any of the thought processes or anything like that?
For me, it started when I thought about starting this organization. I knew nothing about nonprofit. So I did my own research. Um, Sometimes I will overpay. So when I first started, I overpaid. So sometimes when a nonprofit, you can only pay, at the time, it was about 450, whereas I paid $750 to get it started, but they have this special rate or something for nonprofits. So I wanted to make sure I was doing it the right way. Not knowing what paperwork I needed to fill out. So running into those things when you're talking about giving it to the Secretary of State and they're like, this is not what I asked you for. You need to go back and give me what I asked for. So not really knowing the people who I needed to reach out to that had organizations that can support me. So I was doing it on my own, trying to figure out how to get this organization up and running. Well, when I reached out to a few of my peers, I talked to them about what it is I was interested in doing. I was like, hey, I want to start this organization in remembrance of Harmony. and give back to other families. Can you be a part of my board? You know, what's your specialty? How can you contribute in those things? So once I got my board, we kind of sat down and they helped me do the research and getting it up and running. So that was a challenge because I didn't know anything about the nonprofit space in terms of wanting to start my own. The second thing I would say is financial. Um, we were coming out of pocket. I came out of pocket to get this thing started because we didn't have any money at the time coming in. And then just over time, it was still trying to find the resources that we needed because we were so new. We didn't know who to lean on to support us. So we were still in this space, even up to maybe 2 years, doing it on our own, trying to figure it out. But every year I would donate $1,500 just so that I show that I want this organization to work. I want people to know we are around. I'm serious about the work that we're doing. Women's health is important. Mental health is important. I'm going to get this done. So if I have to continue to contribute as much as I can, I will do that to make sure that I follow the mission and do the efforts of this organization to carry out the efforts of this organization. I'm going to do that. So funding is another obstacle that you find yourself in all the time. So people invest and donate with those that they know and believe and they trust. So it's like just starting, and I'm trying to get our name out there, let people know that we're here. This is the work we're doing. So building relationships takes time, and letting people know that you are here. It's just not, hey, I'm Adriana. I'm the executive director of the Harmony Grace Foundation. Can you send us some money? No, is can we meet? I want to let you know what we're doing, and just multiple meetings over time, right? Again, it's gonna 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, but just continually being consistent with building those relationships is what's going to help increase and bring those dollars in. What else can I say? Finding the right people to be on your board has been an obstacle, because yes, the people that are on my board have, in some capacity, have been a part of the maternal space. But also it's finding the right people when it comes to financials. I had to find an accountant. I had to find somebody that worked in a bank, you know, that understand that we are following things that we need to follow to make sure that we align with the IRS, or if we are being audited or anything, that we are doing what we're supposed to do. So it's those moments that I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I'm doing it right. I want to do it right because I don't need nobody coming out to us and saying that they not doing what
Right.
they're supposed to do. I
I
want
was
to.
just about to say, we
We
don't
don't
need the
need that.
popo. We don't need the
So
popo.
those are some of the things I've ran into, that my team and we've ran into. But right now in 2024, I have to talk about how grateful I am to God for putting certain people in my space, allowing me to network and be a part of a bigger community now that see what we are about and the work that we are doing. So I'm very excited about that. And I would say to anybody that's listening and watching that, yes, there are going to be obstacles, because if there aren't obstacles, how are you going to understand when you are on that straightforward path? And now I am beginning to see, because it's been 5 years. It's been 5.5 years for us, and it has been very tough financially, but we are seeing the other side a little bit, and I'm praying that we can continue to see the other side. But it is not going to be an easy road. It's definitely going to be hard, but when you have people, your team, that is there supporting you and motivating you and pushing you to keep going, even when you want to give up, because there are moments that I have wanted to give up, and they said, remember your purpose to me. And I'm thinking, I don't think that was the purpose, but they tell me constantly, remember your purpose. And when I think about that, it motivates me and pushes me even more to want to keep going, even though it hasn't been easy. It has definitely been difficult, but I'm grateful for, again, being in some of the rooms that I've been in. My name is coming up when I'm not present, or at the speaking engagements, people coming up to me and asking me to be a part of their initiative, or being a part of their speaking engagements, or whatever the case may be. That's what I would say, that those are some of the things, that the challenges that we faced, and just stay the course is what I would say.
Well, excellent advice. You talked about business plan, business model, business plan, the setup. You hit
Thank you.
everything. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, all right. So, how can people find you, support you, subscribe follow your website, follow your Instagram? Like, what? Drop
Yeah,
all of that
so you can follow
information.
us on all social media platform, the Harmony Grace Foundation. That is HARMONIE, the Harmony Grace Foundation. That's LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can find us there. Visit our website. It will go into more details. The Harmony Grace Foundation.org. Everything there is listed. You can also donate. We accept PayPal, Cash App, credit cards, cash, whatever you want to send, we accept that as well. All of that information is also on the website. And we are also, you can become monthly subscribers or monthly donors as well. That information is also listed there. Our email address is admin@harmonygracefoundation.org. So if you want to reach out, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or like to volunteer. Volunteer opportunities are also available on the website as well.
And that's what I was going to ask you as well. What about collaborations, or are you guys, is there anything that you guys are wanting or needing, like a relationship or a collaboration with something in particular? If there a specific need,
It's
or it's
just
just
general
general?
right now, but we're always looking for a donation when it comes to our maternal care packages, such as some of the things in that those items are also on the website. So we look for items to donate to
Okay.
be able to give to the hospital to donate to those families that need it. So that is listed as well, and we're always looking for collaborations with other nonprofits that are doing similar work that find an alignment with the Harmony Grace Foundation and theirs. So we're always looking for ways to partner, do community events together, whatever that may look like. We're always open to joining hands with other people.
Okay, great. I love it. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there in case, because people, they don't
They,
really look at websites or click the links.
yes,
Even though I say all the time, I got clickable links in the podcast notes, they
yeah,
still don't click the link, and I'll get a DM. Where can I find
mm-mm.
them at? In the podcast notes. Like,
Yeah,
hello, because when I do a little reel, I only post like 2 or 3 minutes or whatever it is, and I don't have that part, and I'm like, you can
yes,
listen to the whole thing, or you look at the notes,
yeah,
it's in the notes. So I love that. Well, thank you very much again, Adriana. Happy belated birthday to Harmony Grace. I know that this is definitely not the path that you had anticipated going on, and I'm I know we have to say that we
mhm,
were given these things in order to be a better version of ourselves or to help other people, and so thankfully you are doing that, and you found that through your therapy, and like you said,
yes,
5.5 years
yes.
of this now. So we definitely appreciate
Thank
you
you.
sharing your story. So
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much for
what you're
having me. I
doing.
appreciate it so much.